What's going on, guys? Cam here and Damian G back with another Big Gold Belt review and recap of full spoilers, by the way, of Tokyo Vice Season 2 on Max. This is going to be the fourth episode that we'll be doing a recap on right now, and it will be out on February 22nd, this Thursday. I'm not going to say this is a lackluster episode, Damian, but what would you say about this one? I mean, we didn't see really too much going on, but it was kind of impactful. I think certain moments that were starting to, I guess, revolve around certain characters, showing that, you know, eventually in this fifth episode, or I guess almost getting close to mid-season at this point, that right, you know, things are starting to get into motion.
So one of the things you and I have complained about is the breakneck speed in which we jump from storyline to storyline, or you know, like plot and then subplots, and the intersecting of relationships. And I feel like this one, even though we still had a lot of jumping around, it felt calmer.
Yeah, for sure.
For whatever reason, it was less, wait, where did they go? Who's that? Right. It was more, okay, these are these characters now that are established. Mm-hmm. And now we're able to see their growth and development while maintaining, you know, the intersecting storylines. So I think I said it before we came on the air, this might have been the most mundane episode so far we've seen, but that doesn't make it boring. It's just been very calm, this episode, and until the end. And then, you know, all hell breaks loose. But yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess in this first act, in this first episode, I mean, it kind of starts off, I wouldn't say with a pow, but it definitely gives us an idea of, like I said, what is going to be happening in the next couple episodes moving into the mid-season. As we know, Tozawa is back finally. Voldemort is around and people are finally seeing that he's here. It's like the name that you don't speak of.
Nope.
And Jake is just, what is going through his mind right now? I mean, he sees Tozawa, right? Tozawa is trying to reestablish himself in the gang. You know, as a side note, also Detective Katagiri is also trying to, you know, assimilate himself into this task force that's supposedly trying to slowly take down the yakuza. And the yakuza obviously doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But here comes Jake, thinking to himself, you know what? Tozawa's back. I'm gonna come after him. Well, who are you? Who are you, Jake? Go on. Like, that's what I keep thinking. I'm like, what are you? You gonna take a picture of him?
Did you see our boy running around here with the big old camera like Jimmy Olsen?
If that flash would have went off like it did in season 2, then he would have caught one. You know that, right? Like, yes, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, he's gonna take a picture of Tozawa, print it in the paper, and then what? Then what? Tozawa knows that you know that he's here, and then he's gonna come after you. I don't know. I just don't think it's very smart of him, but it doesn't seem like any type of street smarts really follows Jake at all.
He doesn't have street smarts at all.
He's from Missouri. I mean, I'm pretty sure they got streets out there, but I don't know, like, what real street smarts does he have? Because at this point, he's just like, oh, I was gonna sneak into a building and try to take a picture, and then we should be good at this point, right? And then of course his girl, Masaki,
bro,
she's all for self. I mean, I want to.
Everyone is, but we said this last
preservation
episode. Everybody's all for self on this show.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy because, I mean, of course they were like in this relationship and supposedly in love, and then Tozawa comes back. She's like, I gotta go, and of course she says in this episode, I'm not going back to that life anymore. So I'm guessing she's like leaving.
She ran away.
Yeah, she ran away. Are we gonna see her again? Who knows?
We didn't think we'd see Tozawa as expressed in this episode ever again from season 1, and then ta-da. So
yeah, voila, here he is. I mean, Paulina. I mean, hopefully she don't pull a Paulina on us at this point, because I mean, if not, that's it. I mean, we'll just know. Well, Saki didn't make it, everybody. But yeah, there's a lot of developing relationships, I would say, in here. I think what is the I don't want to say the main prostitute. She's not a prostitute. She's the main so Samantha, right? Samantha is like the I guess the head the burlesque, right? Or of the
the girl boss of
establishment, right?
bosses. Yeah,
But the other girl, who is starting to date Sato now, Erica. I don't know why I want to call her something different, but Erica is basically, she just is like going with the flow at this point, right? I mean, she's enjoying her job, she's enjoying the relationship she has with Sato, as well as Sato's like becoming like a little stepdad, you know, like he getting in there with the son over there, just trying to play ninja with him or samurai. When he comes over at like 11 p.m., like he should be in bed. That little boy should be in bed probably. Is what I keep thinking. I'm like, what is he doing up? Like, what are these hours? What do you think of the character development between Erica as well as Sato right now?
Okay, so I like the wrinkle where when we're back at the club, Erica and the rest of the girls are talking, and there's referencing of Sato, and what's going on with you two, like girl talk, and all that stuff. And then it's told that Sato, that's not the first girl Sato's messed with in the club. Let's just put it that way.
It's exposed, and it's kind of devious of them, by the way. Doesn't even throw.
Like, why was it the one sister that was the one that spilled the tea?
I'm like, come on.
But that's what we see now. So Sato is now, I guess, really interested in Erica. I don't know if they've had sex yet. The way they talked about it made it seem like they haven't had sex.
Right.
But there's genuine interest with Erica and Sato. And we know Sato's got his own problems. But now he's in a weird love quadratic equation with too many people. And I think I told you in the chat while we were watching it. This is Sato's, not his way out, but this is what he views as a reason to leave. Yeah. In John Wickian fashion, right? Right. Leave the Yakuza, start a family, be a dad, live a good, safe life, which we're told about later in this episode, that it is possible to leave the Yakuza. Alive.
Right. And so, I generally didn't think that would be an option for anyone, but just leading into that, we actually get to see a gentleman who, I guess he's connected into, some type of cartel where they're able to obtain weapons or guns. And Ishida basically just has his number one and number two, one of the number two being Sato, go out into, the countryside in Japan or Tokyo and try to obtain guns, right? They usually don't use guns. So this is kind of unfamiliar, I think, seeing the Yakuza actually use weapons that are not just knives or daggers at this point. So they're definitely getting out of their comfortability zone, because obviously the pressure that the deputy director as well as Katagiri is putting on them is kind of like making them kind of think like, all right, we're not just also gonna have to go to war with Tozawa, who's coming back. Now we got the police on our hides too, who we had at bay, but now we obviously are losing complete power at this point, because the deputy director, just to put in perspective, she is a female that doesn't take no mess at this point. I think in the last episode before this, we saw her backhand some young man. I don't know, but she backhanded him pretty well. Just in a straight interrogation, we're taking over scene, which I thought was crazy. But yeah, the guy, gentleman's name is it Gin? I think it is, or Jin.
I think it's Gene.
Gene is, he's horrible, man. And I just feel like, of course, he's part of the reason that Sato has to obey everything he has to say, right? He's underneath his thumb at this point.
Oh, Hayama, you mean?
Oh, Hayama. Sorry. Hayama,
yeah, we'll get to him. Yeah, we'll get to him.
Yeah, Hayama is just, he's unruly, man. He's unhinged, I think. And the problem is that, they're going on this mission and they have, a certain, rhetoric that they have to follow, right? Stay low profile, get these guns, come back, right? But he has no disregard for that at all. Zero disregard. If you want to walk him through what we got to see in that episode, as far as like just with him in general.
Okay, so here are the Hayama highlights, right? I feel like we need to keep a running tally this season.
Yeah, he's got a long list.
We're in the train, right? We're in the train. with Sato and him. He buys him a drink, which I didn't know if that was customary or not. I thought it would be the other way around. Customs gives the waitress a big tip, or the server a big tip. So you're thinking, redeeming moment for Hayama. No, not redeeming, because why? Sato tells him, yo, stay away from my brother. Like, please, man, stay away from my brother. And the words he told Sato were, tell your mom I'm taking good care of him.
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
That was straight up disrespectful. So that's on the train on the way to pick up the weapons, right?
Yeah.
And then when they go to pick up the weapons, it turns out there's no weapons. They got a bag full of cash and no weapons. And we expect Hayama to act apeshit crazy in that moment. But what does he do? Gamba! Drinks with the dude who was supposed to give the guns. And you knew this was going to be some suspicious stuff, because
I know
they got along way too quick. So the contact, or the former yakuza, says, drink today, guns tomorrow. Now, Sato being Sato is like, whoa, hold on. We didn't sign up for this, man. There was no overnight. Get the guns, come home. And then Hayama being Hayama, go get me some firewood, boy. Outside. He sent that man to go get firewood. And then quick side, I thought Sato, when he looked inside that window, he was going to see Hayama kissing the dude. I don't know what it was.
I did too. And I was like,
I thought people had some Brokeback Mountain Yakuza stuff going on. So it's not just me.
He just saw him just talking. And I was like, oh, that was kind of weird to show. Like, why'd that matter? Like,
but I think inside, in context, I think why it matters is because we're seeing Hayama normal.
Yeah.
He's just drinking, having a good time, talking, conversing with a former member, of the Yakuza. This was a trap, obviously, because it's Hayama.
Right.
So what happens? Let's see. There's no guns, right? There's no guns. We've established that. We've established that Hayama is pretty much holding Sato's brother Kaito hostage. That's another thing. And then they start playing the stupid knife game, which I've seen people play a billion times in life, where you try to stab your fingers or miss your fingers to test your coordination, no matter how drunk you are. What winds up happening? Oh, Hayama gets stabbed in the leg.
Yeah, on purpose.
Because there's a brawl.
Yep.
But right before that, what happens? They took Sato and threw him on the floor, and I thought they were gonna rape him. I don't know where my brain
I didn't think they was gonna like cut his finger off or something.
No. I thought they was gonna do some Oz stuff, some out of BC stuff in prison, if you remember Oz. But I was worried for our boy Sato. And then what winds up happening? Go ahead.
I think that's true, because I kind of would have had that feeling too, because when the former Yakuza first met Sato, he called him Sugar, right? Sugar. And kept talking about how sweet he was. And I was like he was like licking his fingers, and I was like, oh, like, uh-oh. Like, I know I've seen tons of movies. I feel like I know where this is about to lead. in the wrong circumstance, like, oops, wrong room. Here we go. So sorry.
Our suspicions were correct. No, you're good. Our suspicions were relatively correct, because it turns out that Hayama is fighting this old Yakuza dude, which I know he's a character actor. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know we've seen him in countless movies over the years. But they start brawling, and it's a matter of like old guard versus new guard, and that's a theme for the rest of the episode of old guard versus new guard. And what happens? Again, no guns. What does Hayama do? Hayama gets stabbed in the leg. That's one. And then he bleeds out the dude on the floor because he got stabbed in the leg. So out of anger, out of Hayama being Hayama, he kills the gun runner without them getting the guns.
Whole mission completely
failed.
Or nothing. Yeah, failed.
Failed. And the cherry on the sundae of fuck-uppery is that they can't bring the dude to a hospital. He's bleeding out on the floor, right?
Right.
What does Hayama do? He slices my man's throat to finish the job faster. Yeah. And then what does he do? Burns the place down
without getting the keys to the car. He just burnt the place down with the key. I'm like, how are they gonna? Remind you, everybody, they are in like the snowy mountains right now. So outside,
they're in
snow.
deep Kyoto at this point, bro.
Yeah, they're far.
Deep
They're
Kyoto.
far from anywhere, and all they have is this Toyota pickup truck to get in to drive and take. And the dude burns the place down, not thinking, doesn't even grab the keys. And he's like, "Where's the keys to the car?" Sato says to him, and he's like, "Oh, they're inside. Go get them." He's like, "That place is burning down. How am I gonna go get them, dude? Like, let's just go walk."
Sending our boy Sato in there to get keys. My man's been shanked. He's now going to get burned. Like, can't my man Sato have a good life for real?
It's crazy. And honestly, this kind of entails to what I'm hoping the next episode can give us, man. I just hope Sato does what he got to do. Okay. We all know, and we all were going to be thinking it watching this episode.
You said it too. Mm-hmm.
Just come number one. Get him out of there so you can save your brother. This is what I'm hoping for. So, but simultaneous while this is happening as well, Samantha is trying to woo or to I guess seduce what's his name? Miyamoto,
yeah.
Miyamoto, the architect who has these plans to, you know, put this certain building in a very prominent location that the yakuza need to know and need to have their grasp on. So she decides to get in there and decide to, he had offered, I guess, last episode for them or for him to cook her dinner, right?
Yes.
And now we're jumping in a little fast forward, and she finally accepts his invitation, and she knows because she spoke to Sato about this before she got ready to go. He said, if you don't obtain these plans, we don't know what's going to happen to you. Like, Sato's like, I can't help you if you can't carry this through. Because the last episode, you know, she already demanded what, 2 months rent, right? 2 months rent. I own the whole place by myself, and I only give you what, like 25% of, or no, the whole thing's paid off. The whole debt's paid off.
All debt's paid off if she brings it in. Yes.
But if she can't come through on this, Paulina. That's all I'm gonna say.
She gonna get Paulina.
You gonna get Paulina. That's gonna be that's gonna be the safe word for everybody out there. She will be Paulina. So yeah, she gets in there. It seems like, you know, generally she really wants to do the right thing, but at the same time, like you said, the theme of this show is that everyone's out for themselves and trying to get some type of personal gain to climb higher on the totem pole, you know, or higher on the food chain at this point is the way it looks. So we're getting towards the, you know, they're doing the whole dinner thing. She gets in there, takes these pictures. I'm watching her take the pictures with this flash camera, right? And I'm like, dude is in the other room. He could probably see the flash. Thank goodness, though, he cuts his little finger, and it makes her have to rush out really quickly after taking pictures of the plans, but not securing the plans in the spot they were supposed to be in the first place.
Yep. That was her fatal flaw. She rushed out.
Yep. And they got ready, had dinner. I don't even think she had to do anything with him. Like, I think
just wanted company.
Yeah, he just wanted company. I mean, obviously that's what he was paying for before. So he just wanted to experience that, I guess, in his own home. And his home was not a regular house I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know what that was. That was like a mansion.
That was like a penthouse condo, like for 1999.
Batman lives there as well. I'm pretty sure at this point. It was that nice. So she honestly could have probably just dated him and been okay, you know. But she was like, I want my own thing, which okay, I get it.
Girls.
Yeah. She's like, I take my girls and my money, bye, you know. So that happened, and then they get ready to leave. I guess he was like a gentleman, was going to take her back home. And he happens to walk into his office, I guess, to grab his keys, and voila, there the plans are. I guess they weren't stuffed in the right briefcase, so the briefcase was in the wrong location, though.
It was in the wrong location.
So it should have been on the side of the desk or something, and she left it like right on top of the desk. And he's like, Samantha, and she's like, huh? Who else did it, Samantha? There's 2 people in this house.
And
if it ain't the guy that cut his finger, had been you. You are the stranger at this point. So I'm kind of. Do you have any like predictions of what you think is going to happen with Samantha after this? I was just thinking about it, and I was like, man, I don't.
Our last review,
a homicidal maniac. I don't know at this point, you know.
Our last review, we pretty much doubled down that someone on the main cast is gonna die, right?
Yeah.
And we thought it would be Samantha, because one of the things about Samantha, and as you're talking, I'm realizing this about her. it's not so much she's selfish, right? She's very selfish.
Yeah.
Her pride is her biggest downfall.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, this dude probably could have fronted her some money for the club
easy.
or what have you.
Yep.
A good customer would have kept the club going, brought in more friends, etc., etc. But no, it had to be by her own hand.
Yeah.
Her muscling, last episode, muscling Ishida, bossing Sato around, basically telling Ishida get Hayate out of her club.
Yeah.
So it's her own hubris that's getting her in the way. So if I was doing a betting pool, I think she gets Paulina'd.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be in a way you expect her to get Paulina'd. Because there were at least 4 different times we thought she was going to die in that episode.
Oh, for sure. I thought she was going to die in front of Ishida. Like when she was asking all this crazy stuff, I was like, oh, he's going to be like, peace out. No, I guess because he easily gets somebody else to work there and do it. But I guess, I think he's older, or one of the, even Katagiri even said that. He said, you're one of the more honorable people in the Yakuza as well, So I think that kind of speaks volume to what his character is. He's not all about, he's more of an eye for an eye type guy,
Yes, he
or
is.
either you do wrong to me, I do wrong to you. You do good for me, I do good for you. He believes in kind of the honor system, which Tozawa
does not. He
don't care about none of that stuff. But there are some like smaller characters that we got to see a little bit more into their life as well. And I wouldn't say smaller characters, but I would say not the main core characters. But they do play a pivotal part into telling the story as well. So we got to see Trendy as well, who decided to go on a date at the bar with
Oju.
Yeah. So they were like hanging out, and then the bar scene was like a speakeasy, very, very modest, really chill, 2 guys having a drink at the bar. But then the American basically says there's somewhere else we can go. He was looking for something more like a party. Remind you, this is 1996, I believe, right?
99,
sorry. So it's a little different than it is today, and especially in Japan, as far as how people act in public, I guess you could say. Because even Trendy said it when they went to I guess the gay bar, is he said that matter of fact, no, the American actually asked one of the gentlemen that knew Trendy at the bar. He said, hey, what do you do for work? Just trying to strike up a conversation. Because obviously his Japanese was not great at all. And the gentleman kind of was like, oh, nice to meet you, and kind of walked off. And that kind of showed that, they want to keep work at work, home at home, and I guess play at play.
Bar is bar.
Bar is bar. That's what he said. Sorry. So yeah, bar is bar. And, I guess the American, he saw it as like, hey, I don't want to be in the closet. Like I did that already. And he said it nearly killed him, as far as depression, I'm guessing. Just trying to play a part that you aren't, trying to be somebody else. So I think it kind of got Trendy's gears kind of spinning, because it seemed like he was just thinking like, man, what would it be like if I could just be out and be myself, you know what I'm saying? And not have to pretend like, or who's like really for me, or who's like has some, weird fantasy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's almost like an identity crisis, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was it's going to blossom into a lot more than what we think it is as we get closer, I guess, towards the end of the season. But so far, I mean, I'm liking the season so far, man. I mean, were there any touch points that you thought that we need to talk about that were very, very like pivotal that stood out to you?
Okay, so we also have Emmy, Jake's boss, on her date with her boyfriend, and we find out that her brother is on this new medication that keeps his outbursts at bay.
Right.
And then that's going to be a problem, I think, going forward. But
oh yeah,
the brother sits with her and says, hey, when do I get to meet your boyfriend? And are you ashamed of me? And you're thinking, oh, tension. Oh, are you ashamed? He's going to flip out, and he's like, hey, there's no mom and dad. I got to look out for you. I'd like to meet him. Oh, that took a turn. Okay. I'm okay with seeing that. But like we just said, I smell something with that. That's one issue
Yeah.
right there. And then with Emmy, she went to her boss, right? And talked about the building fire. And we're still trying to get to the bottom of this building fire with all this evidence that burned up in the fire. And then I think his name is Abe, decided to say, I got it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want anybody.
Doesn't want to go any higher than where it is already. He's like, so like you said.
So kept her out of it. So she's as proud of her job as Jake is. But again, because she's a woman in 1999 as a journalist, she's like, why didn't he put me? So we're seeing that. And then with the task force person in charge, women in power in Tokyo, they want to keep their power by any means necessary. So I think that's a really interesting little side note here, because remember, Japan back in this time is very regimented, very rigid, inflexible, not open to new things. So we have equality, women in power as an issue, right? We also have coming out potentially of the closet, being your true self, not hiding who you truly are. And then we got Jake's dumbass, who
unbelievable,
I think is the worst character on this show. And it's not because he's a gaijin. It's not because he's the odd man out. Every move he makes, pardon the audience for me saying it like this, screams of white privilege. Every move he makes is because he's Jake. He's going to get away with it. He's going to get the driver that he called to stay past his shift. He's going to get Masaki to leave what's-his-face, Tozawa, and run away with him. Like, bro, you don't got it like that. He tried to bamboozle the front door man when he was tailing Tozawa, talking about, oh, I have an English lesson to teach in the building.
Yeah.
Bro. So he is the most detestable person in this show. So that's another tidbit. Jake's privilege, or he thinks he got this. And you even said this when we were watching it. You said, there's no way the real life Jake Adelstein did stuff like this. He could not have been this gun-ho.
No way. Because he wouldn't be able to live to be able to tell this story if this was how it was. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody would have cut him down by now. If this was like the real Jake just going out on a limb, doing things at a whim, I'm pretty sure there was a lot more thought process behind him as a human being, as a person. But this Jake is just very like, drop of a dime, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do that, it's gonna work out. Not in real life, it won't, Jake. That's how you get killed. I'll be honest.
That's how you get got.
Yeah, quick. So yeah.
And then a couple more points before we wrap it up.
Yeah, go for it.
Then there's obviously, we talked about Sato, we talked about his brother. That's another wrinkle, right? And then we get to Tozawa, which has been the boogeyman all of season 2, who apparently was left for dead after season 1. Now he's been refreshed. He's a new man. I'm thinking, what Lazarus pit did he jump into?
The Sorcerer's Stone
to heal himself, right? So it's determined that he's making a power play to be the number 1 amongst all the gangs. Numero uno. How does he do this? First off, I thought he was going to throw our boy Ishida off the rooftop.
They even said it. He even said it like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to throw you off the roof.
A long way down, huh?
Yeah, right.
So, and he's making it obvious. He's saying, no, I want to be number 1. Tell people about me. Get my name out there. I'll be the boogeyman. And I still don't even remember who this person was, but a man dressed in old school Shinto style clothing comes in with a very Osakan street voice, like from an anime. And it turns out he's one of the boss of bosses, right?
Yeah.
He goes to meet with Tozawa about, yo, what's good? Like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? We making too much noise. Tozawa apparently has bought off his men, right? And he's all about the new age versus the old age. No, your way sucks. So now I'm going to do it my way. And what winds up happening is, how we talked about, long way down, right? because we thought Ishida was going to get thrown. Nope. My man Tozawa had this dude, whoever this high priest person was, throws him over the banister, and Jake's out there just being Jake on a phone. And then the calmest reaction is seeing a body splatter on the floor from the roof I've ever seen by Jake. And that's Tozawa's plan. He just wants to take out as many upper level, older Yakuzas who may or may not have left him for dead, because we've also let in on the fact that Ishida and him had beef going back to season 1 when Sato saved Ishida from being killed by Tozawa's men.
Yeah.
So they've been going at it, but now they're trying to. Ishida wants to put their differences aside because they have to show strength. Because now with these raids, people are moving on the turf. We're showing weakness. Tozawa's like, bonk your weakness. I'm going to exploit your weakness, and I'm going to take what you got. And the episode ends with the body splattering and Jake going, oh damn. Like the equivalent to that. And that's how it ends.
It was just like that. It was literally just like that, which is crazy. Like it was.
Oh, and the other thing I forgot. Sorry, Katagiri's kids are under surveillance.
Yeah, I was gonna say that next after you, because I was like, man, no, you good, because I think that's a pivotal point, because now that Tozawa's putting this pressure on people, the I guess the raids are putting the pressure on the
everyone's got pressure.
Yakuza. Now here comes people coming after Katagiri's children by taking photos of his kids playing. That was a close photo too. That one photo with little girl on the thing. I was like, did she not see him right here taking a picture? Because the guy was so close to her in the photo. I was like, my God, like I hope the little girl at least noticed this man. Like that's not stranger danger. You gotta think about that. But yeah, so he gets these photos delivered to his, I guess he calls it like his penthouse or his side house, right? And they're on his car. He goes out there and he sees the photos, and now he knows that his life, or his real life, besides being a detective, is really in pivotal danger. And that's where it kind of leaves us at this point, because we're trying to figure out, all right, what is the steps that Katagiri is going to take next? Because I mean, his one all be all is not just his job, it's his kids too, to preserve his line and the people he really cares about at home. He tries to separate work from job. Just like Trendy said, you try to keep work, job, and then bar separate, right? Katagiri likes keeping work and his family separate as well, because it could be very, very costly for their livelihoods, if not. So I guess we're going to see next episode, what are the steps that Katagiri is going to take to protect what dumb things Jake is going to do next. As well as who's going to get Paulina at this point. I mean, fingers crossed. If you had to rate this episode out of the total 4 that we've seen so far, where would you place this one right now?
This is probably the weakest one of the 4.
Okay. Same. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying because it was until the end, a very tense episode that focused on key events. So there wasn't a lot of over-the-top action. But it was more like a noir crime drama where you had suspense, but there were moments where it just lost me, just interest-wise. So if I had to give this a number, 6.
6 out of 10. That's pretty good. Yeah, I would give it probably a 5. To be honest with you, and because it was like you said, it was probably it was like that the connector episode, not the one that really stood out to be like, oh man, I gotta go back and watch episode 4. Probably episode 5 is going to be the one we're going to be talking about next, to be like, oh my God, they finally connected the dots from 1 through 3 into 5, to just really give us a strong mid-season episode. So yeah, a solid 5 for me. But other than that, I think it was pretty good, man. Do you have anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think we hit all the major plot points. I think at this rate with the audience, we should have a bet of who gets Paulina. I want to know in the comments who's going to get Paulina.
Leave in the comments down below who is going to get Paulina next. You guys can check out on Max Thursday, February 22nd, season 2, episode 4 of Tokyo Vice. This has been Cam and Damian G from Big Gold Belt Media. For more content just like this, you guys can go ahead and check us out at biggoldbeltmedia.com. And until next time, peace.